we got jumped out, and so we're recording from here,
Okay,
okay? I already told it to start.
okay, thank you. All right, we have our wonderful Mark Wolf with us today. Except for him being here at potluck, it's almost like he was here in person. Thank you very much for being with us, Mark. It is perfect.
Is that my cue?
That's your cue, but wait a minute, let me find where I belong. Is it make host?
Replace pin.
Replace,
Up.
up. Replace pin? Okay, got it. There you are. Now you are in space. Thank
All
you
right.
for being here.
Pleasure. Pleasure to say good morning to everybody. And I hope that I can be among the first to wish all of you a very happy and blessed New Year. All of you who are there in Fellowship of Spirit in beautiful Farmington, New Mexico, as well as those of you on Zoom like me, and those of you watching on YouTube. Happy, and joyful and blessed New Year. Listen, New Mexico, you gotta love New Mexico, right? People ask me where I'm from. I say, well, where are you from? So I've lived in a lot of different places. I lived out west for a number of years and in New Mexico for a long time. And I've had people say, oh, hey, everybody, this is Mark. He's from Mexico. You speak English really good. No, I speak English very well. And New Mexico, that's like a state, like the United States and stuff. But, by then they're not listening. So, what are you got to love people, right? But listen, it's the first Sunday of the new year, and I felt strongly that we should start off the new year by asking some questions, and maybe some uncomfortable questions, some questions that'll make us think and wake us up, some questions that will challenge what we believe. Because ordinarily people come to church on Sunday morning, they come to be told that everybody calm down, everybody relax. What you believe is the one true and correct belief. So relax. It's okay. And that's very nice. It's very pleasant and very reassuring. It's comforting, but it is not transformative. And I've come to believe in these last few months of the old year that the time of transformation is upon us. The time to transform our hearts and minds is upon us, and that this is the work that has been given to us. Transformed to be more filled with courage and more connected to the Creator's light than ever before. So listen, at the end of 2025, we cannot be the same people that we are at the beginning of 2025. Okay? Because now here's the question. All right. Why would we want to transform ourselves? What would induce us to do that? When it's so easy and comfortable to be who we are now. Isn't that what we're always told? Just just be yourself. It'll be okay. Just be yourself. And that's very nice, but um listen, this is something that the rabbi talked about. All right, the rabbi from Nazareth, whose birth was celebrated around the world by millions and millions of people. Let's listen to what he has to say about this. Now, this story is a little long. All right, it's kind of a long story, so we're going to get the short version, but you can read the whole story in the 25th chapter of Matthew's Gospel. So here's the short version of the story. There was a man. He was going on a long journey. And so before he left, he called his three servants. And so to the first servant, he gave $500. And then the second servant, he gave $200. And to the third servant, he gave $100 and said, see you later. And so the first servant took the $500 and took it to the market and made 500 more. And then the second servant took the $200 into the market and made $200 more. And then the third servant took the $100 and said, oh, yeah, I don't know. I better keep this safe. I'll dig a hole, I'll put the money in it, and I'll keep it safe. You know, and so after a long time, the master returned from his journey. He says, "Hey guys, hey, listen, what about that money?" And so the first servant says, "Yeah, here's your $500 and 500 more." And the master said, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And then the second servant said, "Here's your $200 and 200 more." And the master said, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And the third servant says, "Here's your $100. I kept it safe. Just the way you gave it to me. I kept it safe." And the master is not pleased. He says, "You are wicked. You're lazy. Get out of here." Take the $100 and give it to the guy that's got 1,000 and get this lazy guy out of here. And it makes no sense. Okay, it makes no sense until we realize that this is a commandment. It is a command to grow, all right, to transform, to take what we have, whatever it is we have, whatever that is, and make more out of it, all right, to take who we are and grow in love and grow in joy and grow in connection and grow in sharing and grow in the power of miracles and wonders. Say the good and faithful servant is the one who has the courage to transform. Right? That's there it is. And the commitment to become more than they thought was possible. So that's the journey that I want us to take together this year. So let's take our first step, and we're going to ask. Well, actually, we're going to ask a series of questions, and let's see how far we get with it this morning. So we're going to start with this. I'm going to share a quote with you, and I got some text messages and some emails like, is this correct? This doesn't make any sense. So let me share this quote with you and see if we can figure out who said it. Strange, a God who mouths golden rules and forgiveness, then invented hell. Strange, a God who mouths morals to other people and has none himself, who frowns upon crimes, yet commits them all. Strange, a God who created man without invitation, then tries to shuffle the responsibility for man's acts upon man, instead of honorably placing it where it belongs upon himself. And finally, with altogether divine obtusiveness, invites this poor, abused slave to worship him. Ouch! So, who said that? That quote is from the American author Samuel Clemens, who is better known to us as Mark Twain, the creator of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. Strange, a God who talks about forgiveness and then created hell. Wow, ouch. So let's ask a question. Did God create hell?
No.
Okay. And so, I mean, what are we even talking about? What are we even talking about? The traditional Christian churches, okay? In the traditional Christian churches, hell is a place, not a state of mind. It is a place where human souls are burned and are forever, hopelessly, irreparably separated from God. And many of us grew up involved with Christian teachings in Christian churches that threatened us with hell. Listen, I was 10 years old and I was already terrified that God was going to cast me into the lake of fire. Strange, a God who would terrify a child. So, did God create hell? Yes or no? Okay. Is there a place of eternal punishment? Yes or no? No, there is not. Is there such a thing as eternal punishment? No, there is not. Can a human soul experience a state of distress or darkness or a state of cleansing or punishment, we might call it, after death? Yes, absolutely. Who created it? We did. Okay, we did. And how do we do that? By separating ourselves from God. Okay? Separation from God is the punishment. And because, listen, here's the thing. All we're ever going to experience is our own consciousness. Okay? Strange, a God who would have made it otherwise. We have the power to seek to be united with God or to seek our ego. It's pretty simple. So we can be filled with love and courage and sharing, forgiveness, or we can be filled with selfishness and judgment. Okay? But whatever it is, we're going to experience it. Because we are responsible for what we create. We are responsible for what we create. I mean, think of that. Think of that for a second. Just wow. We are responsible for what we create. Because we are creators. We are creators of our own world, very much like God. That's amazing. If that's all we knew, that would be enough. So this morning, as a part of our our journey of conscious transformation, let's just really embrace that idea that we are creators of our own world, of experience in this world. We are responsible for what we create. We're responsible, not God. Author Sam Clements wants God to be responsible for what we do and create. But I mean, seriously? Are we going to hold God responsible for what we choose to do? Because listen, if God is responsible, then who are we? Who are we? Because taking responsibility is a way that we awaken ourselves to the power that is hidden inside of us. Because if we look around, this exercise, do this week. If we look around and we say, I didn't create this. I'm not responsible for this. Then we become powerless. Then we become powerless victims of circumstances and whatever power is out there somewhere screwing with us. But if we look around with gratitude and awe and a grateful heart, and we say, wow, I created this. I created this. I'm responsible for this. The power within me is amazing and it's real. So now let's create something even greater. That is an affirmation of power. It's an affirmation of connection to the light and an affirmation of power. We say, yeah, I know, but I don't like what I see. Okay. If you don't like it, you can be responsible for it and then completely free to create something else and something better.
Yeah.
I say, strange, a God who would create us and then leave us powerless and helpless and alone and marooned on a planet that we cannot escape from. Because listen, we were not created to be slaves, subject to the moods and whims of forces out there somewhere. Because the power that is within us is real. We need to awaken to this. It's real. It's not symbolic. It's not a metaphor. I said, well, yeah, I know. We can't take it literally. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's real. The power of creation is real. Creating real results in this world. It is within us. Listen. God did not create hell. We did. All right? And not only that, not just that, but also, to a large extent, we create heaven. Okay? I have to tell you the story. Before my brother passed away, and it's nearly 3 years ago now, he told me privately about his vision of his own heaven. And he said, he's quoting Jesus, and he says, in my Father's house, there are many mansions, but I don't need a mansion. I just want a little bungalow, a little white bungalow in a green valley with running water, a place where I could grow tomatoes. And that's very beautiful. It's very sweet. It's very beautiful. And that was his vision. Now, do you think that he got his white bungalow and tomato garden after he passed away? Of course he did. Of course he did. That's what he wanted. That's what he created. But here's the thing. Do you think that he will be happy growing tomatoes for eternity? I mean, let's ask it a different way. Do you think that he'll be happy growing tomatoes for the next 1,000 years? The next 10,000 years? And I mean, think of that, 10,000 years of growing perfect tomatoes, century after century, millennium after millennium of tomatoes. You get to a point you don't want to see any more tomatoes. Seriously. I said, well, that's another 1,000 years of successful tomatoes. Well, so yes, I am certain that my brother got his little bungalow and his tomato garden because it's what he wanted. It's what he created. Why? Because all we will ever experience is consciousness made visible and tangible in this physical world, or made visible and tangible in the lower level of the spiritual world. And as my brother continues to grow in the light, there is a point where I'm certain that he will say, no more tomatoes. I don't want to do tomatoes anymore. I'm done with tomatoes. And then he will awaken to something that is still greater, something that I cannot imagine, but something still greater than that, and greater than that, and greater than that. And that's what we're doing right now in our own way. We're awakening to something greater, something more powerful, something more real, and it is within us, waiting for us. Now, author Sam Clemens says, he says, listen, he says, with altogether divine obtusiveness, God invites the poor abused slave to worship him. Okay, well, that sounds bad, but what is obtusiveness? Listen, I had to look it up. Obtrusive behavior means to intrude into someone else's life in a way that is very inappropriate or uncalled for. Okay, it is intrusion that's actually a little obnoxious. That's being obtrusive. And so what Clemens is saying is that we're here on earth, here we are trying to muddle through life somehow. And in general, we don't have a clue about what's going on. And then God inserts himself into our business and says, okay, here I am. You can worship me now. And listen, I agree with Sam Clemens. Strange, a God who would do that. But is this really what's happening? I mean, listen, let me tell you something. I wish that God had intruded into my business, because my own search for God goes back decades, searching for God. Say, God, please intrude into my business. Seriously, and decades before I found a path that's taking me forward where I want to go. But listen, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something hard, but we need to go there. God never asked for our worship. Okay, you realize that? You think about that for a second. God never asked us to worship. Because listen, why would God ask for worship? God doesn't need it. God does not need our worship. Why would God ask for something that he doesn't need? Our worship does not change God. Our worship does not add anything to God. Strange, a God who would demand our worship and love. So what's the purpose? I mean, what's the point? If it doesn't change God, if it doesn't add something to God, then why bother? I mean, seriously, why bother? It's a good question, and it's a transformative question, and that's where we are today. Prayer and worship do not change God. Their purpose is to change us. Okay? Their real purpose is to make it easier and easier for us to interact with God and connect to the light of the Creator, to connect to the light of miracles and wonders. So let our purpose for coming together on Sunday morning or Saturday morning or whenever it is, let our purpose be for the purpose of creating together a vision, a collective vision of our collective future. Healthy, joyful, prosperous, generous, and filled with love and forgiveness for one another. I mean, with more than enough love to forgive one another for the times that we don't get it right. Strange, a God who would want something different for us. If I can want it for us, then God can want it for us. Then let our collective prayer and our collective affirmation and reading and our beautiful music create an easier and more joyful pathway forward for us. Why? Why? Because we are all creators. We are creators. of our own world of experience, much like God. See, we don't need to change God. We don't need to fix God. What a relief. We don't need to fix God because God, listen, God is not the problem. Okay? Our own selfish, small, victim thinking is the problem. That's what we need to fix. And if we come to believe that a prayer or a song or something is going to fix God, we're wrong. We don't need to change God's mind. We need to change our minds about who we are and where we're going. But it is well within our power to change and elevate that consciousness. That is within our power. We are the boss of consciousness. We are the boss of consciousness. That's transformation. That's taking what we have and where we are and making more out of it. That is being the good and faithful servant. You know, people say, well, you know, I'm going to stand in front of God and I just hope to hear him say, well done, good and faithful servant. Well, listen, you want to hear a good and faithful servant? Transform. Transform. Be more. Be more. More wisdom, more love, more joy, more peace, more connected to the light of healing and giving than ever before. Why would we want to be less? And this is well within our power. It is the power of consciousness, and we are the boss of consciousness. It's well within our power to get closer to the source of blessing than we have ever been before. Now, going back for a moment to our quote from Samuel Clemens, I just so enjoyed this quote. It really made me think. And he says, strange a God who mouths morals to other people and has none himself. Well, listen. This is another hard saying, because it would be strange if God had given us morality. But listen, God did not give us morality, okay? Religion gave us morality, okay? Religion gave it to us. God gave us the power to understand the spiritual law of cause and effect. What you do is going to come back. So be careful what you do. That's all we need to know. And even more than that, we were given the authority. Listen, we were given the authority to determine how God will connect with us. That's amazing. And it's true. Let's hear it again. We have now the authority to determine how we will allow God to connect with us. This is not new, people. This is not new. This is spelled out for us in the book of Exodus. We're going to take the short version again, but it's always been there. But people want to turn it into morality, and it is not. It's energy. It's consciousness. It is the correct use and understanding of spiritual law. Let me explain. We're not going to, this is the short version. We don't have time for all of it. This is Exodus chapter 20. You can read the whole thing. It's Exodus chapter 20. God says to Moses, honor your father and mother. Okay. Why? Why would we do that? And God says, so I can honor you. That's pretty simple. And God says, do not commit murder. We say, well, okay. Why not? Because if you do, you will be reincarnated on the earth and you will not like what happens next. It's cause and effect. And God says, be true to the commitments you make to the people you love. Why? So I can be true to the commitments I have made to you. God says, do not take what belongs to somebody else. Well, why not? Because if you take the blessings that belong to someone else, your own blessings will be taken away from you. That's pretty simple. And God says, do not lie or spread gossip about your neighbor. Why not? Because if you tell lies and speak untruly, God says, then I am unable to answer your questions and guide you truly. And God says, do not covet what belongs to your neighbor. Why not? Because if you desire the things that belong to someone else, then God becomes unable to give us what belongs to us. This is simple cause and effect. It's not morality. It's understanding that spiritual energy is real. Spiritual energy acts according to spiritual law, and it's real. It's not a metaphor. It's not symbolic. It's real. It's understanding that we create the way that God can come to us. It's understanding that cause and effect are real, a real spiritual law. Understanding spiritual law and working with it with harmony and respect will bring blessings of all kinds into our lives. It's really pretty simple. Strange, a God who would give us a list of do's and don'ts for no reason. Okay. See, we don't need a God out there somewhere who intrudes into our lives with rules and threats. Don't threaten me. I don't need that. God is within us. The path of God, the path to God is within us. The power of healing, the power of blessing, of miracles and wonders is within us. The transformation is connecting to it and learning how to use it. We're called upon to transform ourselves, to be free of fear, okay? To be free of judgment and jealousy and anger. Why? So we can open ourselves to the source of all healing and all blessing and the source of miracles. Now, we ourselves are called upon to become a source of light and blessing and healing and elevation to others and to the whole world. We're called upon to do that, to be a good and faithful servant and to transform ourselves with that collective vision in mind so we can become like God. We can become like God. So we can become like God and fulfill our purpose for being here in the first place. Strange, a God who might have made it otherwise. Listen, here's the thing. We're talking about this morning is freedom. We're talking about freedom, transforming our consciousness from the belief in slavery to our ego and slavery to our desire and slavery to our appetites and slavery to our addictions and most of all, slavery to fear. Freedom. Freedom. Divine spiritual beings living purposely and consciously on the earth and becoming who we really are in order to bring the Creator's light into this world. Becoming more and then becoming more still. Crazy things I realized after I had studied this for a while and thought about it, I realized I agree with Sam Clemens. I agree. Yes, strange. A God who would create us and then hold us in such low esteem. But that is not the God that I have sought, nor the God that I have come to know. Okay. The God that I know says, grow, just grow, become greater, be like me, and never stop growing. Because you too are a creator. You too have power. Don't be shy. Don't be shy anymore. Don't be afraid. Embrace who you really are within. Because when you embrace who you really are within, you embrace me and everyone else. And together, we can do anything. Together, we can do anything.
Thank you
Jerry,
so very much.
back to you.
So in line with what we're reading at our book study in the morning, The Power of Intention, so in line with that. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say to Mark?
Oh, I'd like to say all kinds of things to you, Mark. You are a totally incredible creator. And your part in this world to help us all to be better people is so appreciated. By any chance, were you reading from Mark Twain on the damned human race?
No,
That wasn't the book? Yeah.
no, actually, the thing was, this was posted by a Facebook friend,
Oh,
and I looked at it and I read it and I thought, wow, okay, and I heard this message in my mind as soon as I read that.
and the thing is that I was asking myself those questions yesterday. So I'm going to say you were psychic and picked up on it and gave a good talk on because we're all one. You know that. And
Uh-huh.
I'm so glad that I'm a part of you and you're a part of me. I do appreciate that very much. But yeah, all the things that you were saying are just all the things that I was thinking about, all the things that I've been listening to, and wondering too, why on earth are people worshiping? Why are they worshiping someone who's going to damn them to hell? Where's the forgiveness? Where's the love? And then, people, if you're so filled with fear, how can you have any love within you? And if you have no love, where's God? You know?
Uh-huh.
So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else? Steve's coming.
Good
There you
morning,
are.
Mark. There you
Hey,
are. Yes, thanks so much for another reaffirmation of the spirit that's in the law, or maybe it extends beyond the law, because that's always been where I think that we all belong, is in the spirit of the law. We are all one, and in that spirit, we are as God. We are becoming like God if we choose. So I really appreciate you reaffirming that, and you do such an elegant job of it, Mark. Keep on coming back, buddy.
thank you.
Thank you for being with us. The only thing I miss about today is your wonderful desserts. We will think about you during potluck.
Good. My daughter made Twix cheesecake yesterday.
Good for her. She takes
Um,
after you.
I found the recipe for it and I made that. Because Twix is her favorite, and so I made that for Christmas dinner. It was
Huh?
real good. It was real good. So it's real easy too. And so she made it yesterday.
Good for her. Tell her to keep up the good work.
Will do.
Anyway, thank you
I
very much for being here. We really do appreciate you and look forward to every single time that you come to see us.
Thank you.
Wendy, did you want to say
Oh, if
something?
you don't mind me. Yeah, thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it. Um, I think as a parent, that's why I didn't raise my kids with Christianity, is because of my conflict with the concept of God. It was like, why are we always burning in hell and fire and brimstone every Sunday? And it's like, where's the loving portion of this? So that was a big struggle as a parent. I was kind of like, no, I'm not going to raise my kids with Christian faith because it's so hateful and limiting. I believe in parts of the Bible, but I'm not the interpretation of people's thoughts of the Bible. It's such a big difference. But thank you. I really appreciate your talk.
I'm glad.
Thank you, Wendy. Anybody else? Well, blessings to you and a happy new year. And hopefully we'll get to see you sometime this year. Okay, we do have another song by our lovely Shay. There is only one.
Love, love, there's only
There only
love.
one love? Okay.
Only love. Is that,
No, there's only one.
oh, well, the title is love.
Okay.
There's only love. That's okay.
Okay.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only, there is only, there is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love.
Yes. Thank you, Shay. Beautiful. I love the fact that your songs are repetitive enough that we can sing along with them after the first thing. And so, even though you may not hear us, I know several of us were thinking the words at the same time. So thank you very much. Those are blessed songs. Okay, we have our celebration of abundance. And Shay, would you go tell the kids that in just a minute or two, we would like them? Okay, if you will follow along with me in your bulletin and place what you're giving over your heart. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Through the I am prosperous. About this time, we have our children come in. We'll give them a minute to get in here and tell us what they've been working on. They've had a very busy December, so I kind of wonder what they're up to today, other than maybe just relaxing a bit. But we're going to take down the Christmas tree today after potluck, and we may not get it all done, but if we can get the decorations off of it and boxed up, then we can worry about taking the tree itself down at a later point. But that's our intention for today, is to get the tree undecorated.
Steve,
Were they coming?
they said they were coming.
Okay, they're coming. They're on their way. I see them coming. So are your kids ready to get back to school?
We have,
I think all kids are kind of bored with too much time off. They may not think so, but I think they are. I think their minds want to learn. And so, Mark, your kids are in college now, aren't they? Both of them?
my daughter's in high, she's a senior in high school.
Okay.
And they'll have a snow day tomorrow. So we have a lot of snow coming down and ice, and things are shutting down already.
In Kentucky, who would
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, the main part of the storm is a little south of here, but we're getting plenty here on the edge.
Are you? Well, stay safe.
Will do.
Don't let it wipe you away. We have not had any snow. We haven't had any rain. We haven't had any snow. We haven't had anything. We got a little bit of wind yesterday, a little bit of chilly weather coming next week, but I don't think there's any snow or anything expected. So it is what it's going to be. We'll just put up
Seriously.
with it. Oh, here they come, children.
Want to play with the kiddos? Go with aunties. Perfect. See?
Today in class, we started our Valentine's projects. And I'm gonna share to you guys a recipe. Take a cup of forgiveness, stir in some of God's grace, then fold it into your heart, and this recipe you'll embrace. But you'll need to keep adding more ingredients as you go if you plan on having a year where love can rise and grow. You're going to need patience, at least a cup or two, if you want to have meekness bubbling up inside of you. Slowly blend in a heaping spoonful of goodness. Beat into the mixture to whip up gentleness. Don't forget to add a pinch of joy, and as you whisk it into peace, add a dollop of faith and trust, so you hope you'll release. If you live in the Spirit, you'll need to walk in it. To if you follow this recipe, produce His fruit in you.
Thank you. Don't want to leave that little one behind. Okay. Thank you, children. Bill, you're up.
I thought Steve wanted me to do it on my knees. That would be quick.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jerry. Nice to have you back. Hope your trip to Denver was good.
Thank you, it was.
Good morning, everybody out there in Zoom land. Today, we're going to talk about facing our problems. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. James Baldwin. We have little or no power to change some problems in our lives. An injury or illness leaves us with physical limitations. A dear friend moves away. A shift at our company limits our career advancement. It's tempting to become bitter, but facing the problems is far healthier. When we face the problem, we may find that there are some parts of it that we can change. Time and therapy can help our injury or illnesses. A phone call with a friend results in scheduling a fun reunion. An honest chat with our supervisor reveals other opportunities for professional growth. There's always a silver lining in that cloud. We just have to reach out and get it. I will face my challenges head on. It's only when I face them that I can see what I need to accept and what I can change. God bless you, and I hope you all have a wonderful change and hold those resolutions.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, if we will gather up. See if I can get this off of here without destroying it. Thank you. I get to stand up too. You got your phone on?
Hit the wrong button.
Okay, we'll just turn this around.
So yeah, oval.
Okay. Fred, lead us up. You do such a good job of
1, 2,
it.
3. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together. Weave us together in unity and yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, family all are we. So let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. And yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
Yes, amen to that. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week.
God bless us until we gather again today. Amen.
I'm sorry?
And God bless us until we
And God
gather
bless us
again.
and amen. And I need to, where is it? I can never find it. Yes, please.
Okay, let's go clean up.